TYTSports, Francis Maxwell, with fans all over the world already talking about Barcelona versus Real Madrid this season, with all the big names that are bringing in. It is a mouth-watering tie. It's going to be a huge match, so we're going to look at the top 5 rivalries from around the world. Barca and Real will be in there, there's no doubt about that, but I want to show some of the fans out there maybe not as familiar. I know some of the diehards will be familiar. This top 5, we're going to look at number 5, Manchester United versus Manchester City. So with this rivalry, it was always a test for Man City in the past to try and beat the dominant Manchester United. Manchester City did not have enough quality to kind of put up as much of a fight against Man United in the old days, but now they have come into an enormous amount of wealth, around what I make a week probably. I'm joking, I don't make that much. Anyway, it's been huge. Ever since the noisy neighbours, as Manchester City have been called, have now had a good enough team to put up a huge fight. And don't get me wrong, they've won games in the past, which kind of added to that, the fight of the game, because they were the underdogs. But now it's a huge rivalry because both teams are Premier League contenders. Number 4, Newcastle versus Sunderland. The Battle of the Toon, as it's called, as the two Newcastle teams up in the northern part of England. For one, you think my accent's bad, you should hear a Newcastle accent. It is almost... you just can't make it out, and I don't know how to describe it. I could do an impression, but it would be pretty awful, and I don't want to put my head underneath the guillotine too soon. So Newcastle and Sunderland, violent rivalry, many great games played between them two, and it will continue to be one of the best rivalries in the world. Number 3, Galatasaray versus Fenerbahce. I don't know, there's a lot of historical reference between Galatasaray against, and both Turkish teams have connections elsewhere in terms of culture. I don't want to dwell too much into that, but has been violent in the past, especially the fans. The Turkish fans have been known to be very extravagant with flares, violence, and it's definitely a game that I would love to go to, but definitely not be too keen in getting caught up in that violence. At number 2, one that I can speak firsthand of is a crazy rivalry been to many of these games, Celtic versus Rangers. So a little historical context about this. I don't dwell too much on it, but it's a very sectarian battle between Catholics and Protestants that stems way back to when the origins of the game. And I hate that side of it. I mean, I love how much passion there is in the game, and both teams have had many violent encounters, including this one here, which actually involved the managers. It's one of the most memorable moments. Check it out here. So that's Neil Lennon, Celtic manager, arguing with a player on a Rangers team, Diouf, and then also getting involved in a fight with the opposition manager, which is something you don't see often in the game. Here it comes up, I think. A nice shake of the hand, you think, yep, that's sportsmanlike. Oh wait, here we go. Yep. That was every week, and I kid you not. Every encounter when they played against each other, it was amazing to watch. The atmosphere was insane, and there was also a lot of controversy between Celtic and Rangers. Unfortunately, this game has not happened in the last couple of years because Rangers were found out to be financially bust and were demoted right into the 3rd division, the bottom tier of Scottish football, slowly working their way back up. So the next time these two teams play each other, you better tune in for it because it is going to be insane. And number 1, Barcelona and Real Madrid. So what we talked about between them both is over the past few years there's been a lot of violent encounters in both teams, a lot of red cards. Pepe probably picking up most of the red cards, as we know about him. He's pretty insane. But the violence has stemmed onto the field because both teams are so competitive. They have a star-struck team. I mean, you've got so many amazing players battling against each other, and I love that it's came onto this sort of physical encounter because the La Liga, it lacks that physical presence, I believe. But when these two teams collide, there's bound to be fireworks, and this year will be no different. When on one hand you've got James Rodriguez, you've got Toni Kroos coming in, you've got Gareth Bale, Ronaldo. On the other hand, you've got Suarez, Messi. And they're trying to bring in new players as well. Neymar, obviously, is there. It's going to be, not only will it be a battle of the world's best players, but I guarantee you it will be one to watch in terms of the physical aspect of it. So that is our top 5. Again, we want to hear your views. We trust our viewers to throw in some rivalries that we don't know maybe as much about, to bring it in. I know there's honourable mentions like the battle in Argentina between River Plate and Boca Juniors. I don't think I'm forgetting about them. These are just what I believe to be your top 5. So make sure to comment. Also check out our website, TYTSports Online. Follow us on Twitter at TYTSports. Follow me on Twitter at Francis_Maxwell. I'm trying to gain my Twitter follows, so please follow me so I can prove to Jason that I have more followers than him, and deservedly so. Thank you.